have, let's say, a pain in your abdomen, are you immediately going to go to the hospital and insist that they take your appendix out? Let's say your car's not working the way that you think that it should be. Are you just going to start randomly pulling pieces out of your car to fix the problem? No, you wouldn't want to do that unless you're probably wanting to have some more problems down the line. You want to understand what's actually at the source of the issue. And somewhere in your world, you're dealing with a scenario where you're only too acutely aware that something just isn't working anymore. And you're perhaps feeling under a lot of pressure to fix the problem. Now, what area of your life might that be in? That's going to be different for every individual. I highly suggest scheduling in an astrological service. Whether you have a problem or not, astrological consultations are always really helpful at helping you to gain clearer insight. And you can usually find a special offer or two or three at the link that you see above. So back to the problem that you may be dealing with, right? Sometimes we get so intensively emotionally involved with things that are going on in our life because who wouldn't? They matter. They make a difference to us, especially when it deals with the concept of devotion, whether that be devotion to a cause, devotion to a person, or devotion to both a person and a cause. We get so wrapped up in making things work out right that sometimes we just kind of make things work out wrong. And if you're kind of dealing with a situation where you recognize there's a problem, are you just gonna let everything fall apart with what you're dealing with, especially if it's something that in which you've invested a great deal of energy and time, especially when it deals with the subject of love or people that you care about? Are you just going to go, you know what, it's time to just split this all apart because it's not working? No, if you're devoted and you care, you're probably going to want to try to like fix whatever the problem is. You're going to want to get to the source of the issue. But as I was saying, if you're too emotionally caught up, you're not really going to be able to figure out what the source of the problem is. You might blame it on the other person. You might cover over your own responsibility. And at this particular moment, the way the planets are aligned, you're likely finding yourself with a great deal of responsibility in a certain area of your life, and it's weighing upon you and it's making it difficult, and you're ready for change. Mars retrograde cycles, they have this tendency to kind of take us in a very deeply introspective journey. And we're dealing with a period of time right now where both Mars and Mercury are retrograde, and it's really causing us to re-examine and, on a certain level, reintegrate our lives. And sometimes we might jump the gun on that reintegration. Now, you might be asking, but what does that have to do with the full moon in Mrigasira, which is where we have this particular full moon? Basically, Mrigashira deals with the concept of perhaps, working better with what you have, right? Weaving together things that are in your life, and quite often with the subject of taking things apart and putting them back together again in a different way, right? And that's a very common thing with Mrigashira Nakshatra, which is let's just kind of see what's making this tick or what's at the root of this problem and see if we can take it apart and put it back together again. And at the time of this particular full moon, we do also have some energies interacting with the full moon from basically Mercury in Anuradha Nakshatra, which is causing us to introspect and try to gain a good sense of judgment in regards to what the source of the problem is. Anuradha, even though it deals with the concept of devotion, also deals with the concept of getting so caught up in something that there's no clear boundary between us and the thing that we're looking at. So you may find yourself in just such a scenario with everything feeling like there's a good deal of pressure on me to make this situation work better. There's a good deal of pressure on me to change things. And to be quite honest, I'm really feeling like that needs to happen. But if you jump the gun too quickly, and if you take a step without looking at what the source of the problem is, as I was saying before, you're likely going to jump in and you're going to change something that doesn't really need changing, or you might be jumping to a conclusion, like let's say we're dealing with the relationship and going, I need to just split this relationship apart, when in reality, maybe there just needs to be a little bit of discussion, a little way of understanding that greater boundaries could be set within your connection, right? That's more of what the energy of this particular full moon is like, recognizing that something needs to change. But if you make the wrong change, you're just going to create more problems. You're just going to create more problems. Now, luckily enough, this particular full moon does give you an opportunity to see things clearly, but it's not going to give you that opportunity when you're so deeply and emotionally involved. So at the moment that you begin to feel that racy, hectic, high pressure energy, even if things are on a certain level imminent, you need to kind of go, okay, I need to breathe through this. I need to look at this more clearly. I need to have a greater level of perspective. I need to reflect before I take action. And that's the key word in this particular situation. You need to reflect at how you might be able to make this work better before you just break the thing into pieces. Okay. Going back to the scenario of the car, you don't want to dismantle your car. You don't want to go to the emergency room and have your appendix removed unless you're really sure that's what the problem is. So don't let the pressure of the moment cause you to do something rash. With Mercury and Mars both retrograde, there can be the potential to want to really take like action. And we've been dealing with a lot of razor sharp energy from planets in Jyeshta Nakshatra and Ashlesha Nakshatra, which are both what are called Tikshna and Daruna Nakshatras. And they can quite often make things feel like everything is on edge. And even if it seems like things are on edge, you need to go for the right thing. You need to fix the right problem rather than going in and creating more of them. And as I mentioned, if you could use a little bit of help dealing with this full moon energy or anything else in your life, or maybe even a look ahead at the year 2025, I do have several different levels of astrological service. All of those are available through my services page that you will find linked above. That's going to do it for this look at the full moon in Mrigasira Nakshatra, which takes place on the 15th of December 2024. Until next time, please do take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.